ladies. I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Today we're going to be talking about identity, and I this came from somebody who wrote in. So let me first start by saying this will be a different kind of live, and today I will be talking about some things that are quite unconventional to most, but I hope it helps you understand identity more. Let me begin by saying my name is Kiannaa Sadge, and I guide people to peace. I do that through this process called energy psychology, and this is the integration of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, because we are more than just our physical body. We are to be integrated within, and if we are feeling misaligned or discord, it is because we do not have connection. And the people that are in the chats can be quite distracting sometimes. So the purpose of this discussion today is really to address the question that I was given about identity and how people can maybe be raised in a different culture and go to another country and feel at ease with the, hi Eric, good to see you. Feel at ease with the language and maybe integrate language much easier or dream much easier. And so how is it that we could be from multiple different races and feel more comfortable with one race or culture than another? And that all comes back to our identity. Eric, good to see you here always. Thank you so much for being here. Did you find your headset? I remember in the chat yesterday you said something about your headset. Kiannaa, my name is Kiannaa. So I'm just going to wait for people to jump on here. Hello, this is going to be a different kind of discussion today about identity. Welcome everybody. Nobody is alone, Mr. Alone. But remember, this topic is about identity, so that might challenge some of your ideas. Just remember, whatever you put in the chat is more of a reflection of you than it is of me. So if you would like kindness back, be kind. If you are hateful, well, then you're just going to get it back at you multiplied, because that is how energy works. So there are a few things about identity that I want to start by sharing. And some of this is might be considered unconventional, because who really talks about identity anyways? So the first thing I think it's important for people to understand is that we are multidimensional, and we have an identity matrix. Okay, so I'm going to go into the details here. We also have stations of identity, and these stations of identity really connect us to the harmonic universes, because we're multidimensional beings. And so the personality matrix is really 1D, 2D, and 3D, right? And each of these are going to connect you into different matrices, okay? So personality matrix, then we have the soul matrix at 4, 5, and 6 dimension. Then we have the monadic matrix, and that's 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension. So we have quite a few aspects that are in operation when it comes to our stations of identity and also our identity matrix, which somebody on here is just saying that they have dissociation identity matrix disorder, which I'd be wondering who the hell told you that, and who are you identifying with? What are you identifying with? Because our beliefs will definitely dictate how we access our different dimensions of identity. Okay? The physical body is simply just a vehicle in which our spiritual body expresses. So that's why it's so challenging with people to think of their bodies in particular ways, because it blocks how we are spiritually. And then the other most important thing that you should remember about your your stations of identity is that those are all going to be working through what's called the universal time matrix, which would align you with timelines. So our identity and how easy things are will depend on our beliefs. And if our beliefs are misaligned, meaning misaligned away from creation, then you will have a very difficult time in understanding what it is that I am talking about. This discussion and topic may not be for everybody, so stay here at your own discretion. So I wanted to share a couple stories about identity, because so many people and clients that I've had in the past, they have misconstrued their identity with their job titles. So a job title is not who you are, and it has nothing to do with your identity. However, if you make your job title part of your identity, you will be misaligned automatically, because it's nothing. A title is nothing. And the moment that you release any attachment to titles is when you really start to embody freedom. So, yeah. So I don't see any of my regulars here today. Why is that so crazy? So let me see what you guys have in the chats. I went over 1, 2, 3, 4 main points that I thought was important for the concept of identity and starting to understand it. So if you have any questions about identity, let me know. Alpha, how to overcome an addiction like, well, Alpha, if you're having an addiction to porn, you've definitely been infiltrated and have vulnerabilities. So you must learn to connect with your heart, because porn is it's basically a warfare. It's a tool to use to basically degrade men. Not to say that women can't be degraded too, but it's specifically a tool that is used to really separate men from their hearts and keep you only locked into the physical. So addiction is a challenge, but you can overcome anything by connecting to your heart, by connecting to your soul, by connecting to that which is real. And porn is obviously not real. Lizzie is saying split personality. What are you saying about split personality? This is about identity. You're talking about the personality matrix, and that might mean that you have some trauma. If you have split personality, that needs to be addressed. It could be trauma from a past life or this life. Just looking for questions in the chat. Anything about identity? Foss is saying My doc's not going to let me stay on antidepressant meds if my drug tests come back positive. Well, does my doc suck for this, or should I get a new one? I can't give you medical advice. This is not my place. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I do energy psychology. So I would suggest that any drug, whether pharmaceutical or otherwise, is not optimal for alignment. Hey, Salvo, somebody's here that I've seen before. Good to see you. Thank you so much. I'm having a good day. Thank you. We're talking about identity. Looking for questions. So someone that puts a label on everyone, is that an example of an identity crisis? Salvo, that's not really explicit question, but I would say that's more an ego aspect that is in judgment. So when we need to label people, places, things, like one label that gets misused and overused and confusing for people is the label of narcissist. Everybody labels everybody as narcissists, and that's not necessarily the case. A lot of people are using labels like diagnoses as labels, which are not good because those can become parts of people's identity. And I do not think that that's healthy. Our true identity is with creation, source energy, God, however you want to look at your connection to Creator. That's who our true identity is. And so when people are using diagnoses or determinations to put on other people, those are usually judgments that bring us greater separation within and creates a fragmentation of the heart, mind, and soul. And that's very dangerous, Salvo. I hope that answers your question. Am I promoting witchcraft? Not at all. Not at all. I don't know how you would get that, Phil. Raw one is trying to figure out what I scrolled into. I said people, might not be for everybody. Delusions of grandeur, thoughts. Delusions are a thing, and it would be a mental fragmentation that would cause a delusion, for sure. And your identity is not going to cause a delusion. A lack of identity in alignment with creation would. I'm not sure if that helps you. Is the moon sorry, there's bugs flying around me. Is the moon talking to me? Is that normal? I would say, how do you know it's the moon? How do you know it's not an imposter talking to you as the moon? That's what I would ask you, Phil. Raw one is asking, what is energy psychology? Energy psychology is the alignment of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies in alignment to within, okay? In connection with creation, source energy, or God, however you want to look at it, whatever word works best for you. And it is it's a process. Energy psychology is a process of alignment, which is taking people who are misaligned and aligning them within. It basically helps people, energy psychology helps people understand how patterns work, how their energy works, helps them understand their energy so they can function more successfully in this world where we have warfare at play, like things that are being used against us that most people really don't understand. When you see it from an energetic perspective, it gives you more perspective and it helps you navigate life much easier. AJ is saying, don't smile too much, otherwise income tax are low. That's not very nice. Phil K is saying, my doctor gave me these pills. So what does that mean? Just looking for questions. I'm looking for legit questions for people. Still trying to figure out what I scrolled into. I'm surprised that you're surprised. I mean, the chat is crazy and it has nothing to do with me. I don't know. This topic came from a member. Oh, I gotta go.